grew up in Migori County. My mom was a nurse and my dad was a business person. I lost my mom as a result of cancer, and I later lost my dad a year after. But when I lost them, things changed. I had nobody to run to because I was the only child. And my life, I went to the street, started selling water. I sold quite a number of things. I sold water, I sold biscuits, I sold sweets. I later joined Hills Combined Academy, where I got some support. So things were also not easy throughout my life since I lost them. There was nobody to take care of me except my grandmom, who is still alive up to now, by the way. So at Kenyatta University, things were also not easy. Yeah, after getting the scholarship, you are not given accommodation. You are not given food. So it's upon yourself as a beneficiary to toil and see a way of how you can survive. And being that I'm an orphan, and by then I didn't have anybody, and the guardian also had too much responsibility. So I started also doing some little business. And one of the business that I did in campus, I sold chapati at night, but I studied that during daytime. But now during daytime, this is what I was doing, because I gained that as a result of my friendship with the students. They loved me, so I used to help them to seek basic information that some of them could not get, like how they could access their timetables, how they could know how the semester runs, different departments, different offices. Because being sponsored by KU, we went through orientation on how to know what is expected within Kenyatta University and different offices, different departments. So I had wealth of knowledge in regards to where this place is. So students found it very, very useful. And as a result of that, they elected me representative in different units. So that is where my leadership services started from. One of the amazing things that happened, and now that I want to bring to you, is that I founded the Icon of Integrity Club in Kenyatta University. And this is how it came to bail me, and I came to meet Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, through that, because I organized an event with the partnership of Kenyatta University Student Association, KUSA. By then it was finance department that was working on it. So we collaborated together and we invited Professor. And that's how Professor shared with me his card. And he looked at my hand and said, "You're a very organized man, and I like the way you do your things. Would you be willing to volunteer with our foundation?" So that's how I found myself at the P.L.O. Lumumba Foundation. But luckily enough, after graduating, I thank God I graduated. I passed very well. And now he employed me as an intern. So I started as an intern. Then after that, I was promoted now to the project manager of the foundation. Then later on, after 2 years, now I became his assistant. So you can see the sequence of how life has been from that time up to now where I reached. So I've been his assistant for 5 good years now. And I've also been the project manager of the P.L.O. Lumumba Foundation, which is present in 38 African countries. And the program that we are running now, which is the P.L.O. Africa Mentorship Program, was a brainchild that I took part in developing. So I feel very much energized and very glad that I took part in making something that I didn't know that one day could be a life-changing program. Through his mentorship, I've now been able to open a company that deals with African wear, and as you can see, this is my product. So I've opened the company. I've also opened a foundation called Lawi Afric Foundation. The company is Lawi Afric Technology Limited. So basically, the main reason why I was doing this is to also offer my inspiration to other young people outside there, that despite the background that you come from, despite the twists and turns of life that you people go for daily, there is always a brighter future if you remain on toes, if you remain that you actually want this particular thing to come to a reality. Business have its challenges, and right from start, you cannot start any business without failure. Look at history, and I like using history because history makes us to reflect on how things run out, on how we manage our daily activities. If you check the history of Apple, or let me say Microsoft, if you check the history, the founders of it failed several times. This light that is here, the founder of the light, failed several times. A good business needs a very good planning. If you cannot be able to trace your clients, if you are not able to account for your daily expenditure, even your personal daily expenditure, like you have gone for a restaurant, you have paid for a coffee, and you are not able to account for that money, then that begins to the downfall of your business. Because you yourself, you're a business. If you can't manage yourself, then means that you cannot succeed in anything. One of the worst experience I had is that we always try to do everything. And that is what makes business fail. If you try to be everywhere at every point, then you will not succeed in business. Always try to delegate. If you trust people to do something, they will do it. So focus on what you can do and delegate. Every client is important, and every client direction is always right. So in whatever you do, ensure that your customer relation is good. But most business people fail, and I fail at some point when one of our colleagues didn't respond appropriately to one of our clients. And when I talk about appropriate, it means both verbal and written. Because you know what you say, that is what resembles your organization or your company. What you write, that speaks your brand. So if you write an email that is abusive or is tend to be degradatory to your client, then that's the beginning of the failure of any business. We, Africa, we don't love one another. That's the major problem, disunity. And I want to go back to the spirit of Ubuntu. A person is a person through a person. But are we practicing the spirit of Ubuntu? No. Why do we have riots in Ethiopia? It's because we are not united. Why do we have war in South Sudan? We are not united. Why are we still hearing all these guns from different countries? We don't have the spirit of love. So disunity is one of the major challenges that is facing Africa. So any working environment in Africa, integration in terms of business and interacting with people, what you need to do is to make an impact. And how do you make impact? By empowering others. You don't manipulate them by giving them bribes. You don't manipulate people by putting your relatives to have tenders, by putting your relative for vacation when you know that you're working for a public office. Because see what is happening now in Africa and even in some part of the world is that everybody is fighting to have his own. But who is fighting for the rest who don't have their own? Not unless we begin to be very ethical in what we do, we will have a very doomed generation in the next decades to come. So we must uphold integrity as young people. Integrity is one of my key values that I live with. Choose you now as young people what you want to do with your life, because history will one day judge you. Now, back to Lawi. In Lawi, we have different products. We make clothes, we make accessories, those are like earrings, and house deco, and as you'll see some of them on the screen. And our purpose is to appreciate the local industry in Africa, the local market in Africa, because for the past time we have been getting things internationally. We need to appreciate what we have. Like, if you can see this material that I have today, this is locally made in Africa. This is from Ghana. So we need to begin to appreciate this kind of local products. So our company is promoting a futuristic Africa, an Africa that appreciate local brands. And that's why even in the foundation, after they have graduated, we put them in and we market their product and they get their percentage based on that. So we sell different African wares, as you can see. Now, in regards to the book, I've authored 3 books. The latest book is still not published, but it will be out soon. The first one is called Twists and Turns, which is my story, and I'm using this to inspire young people across Africa. So, and just to let you know, the book, I've donated close to 1,000 copies of the book, and I've sold very minimal of it. And the purpose for it is to inspire many people. So the first book, as I've said, is to encourage young people. The second book is called Cyber Bully, A Crime Against Humanity. This is a book that helps people who are in technology world, because now everything now is in tech world, and majority of people are now taking advantage to use the platform that they are in. So the book tends to provide solution on how you can use the platform and how you can also be able to protect yourself from scams. And the last book, as I said, is about young people, the stress that young people have gone through, and now they are coming out. And it gives government solutions that they cannot make a society better if they don't have youth inclusivity. So they have to work with young people. So basically the book talks about inclusivity of young people.